wins the All-NBA Decade Teams, maybe underrated players of the decade as well. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you like the video if you do like the video, and also subscribe to the channel. Giveaway coming very soon. 7.5K, it's on its way. Make sure you check out yesterday's video where I did some gameplay on Madden NFL 22, so if you want to see me play some Madden, definitely check out that video. It's definitely very fun nonetheless. But yeah, oh, and also, thank you, super shout out, super appreciation to Jay. Thank you so much, Jay. You are the best. You are somewhat of I don't know, you've been around for a very long time, and you're an OG. That's what I was trying to think. You're an OG. Thank you so much. I've always appreciate you having around in all the comments and in the live streams. Thank you so much, Jay. Yeah, I think that is everything that I needed to talk about. So now, I think it's time to talk about the best players, champions, all that jazz on my favorite basketball era, the 2010's. Alrighty guys, so sticking to the same format that we had before, we're going to start talking about the NBA champions of the 2010's. Starting off on the decade, in the year, well, season, the 2009-2010 NBA season, we had in fact a rematch of the 2008 NBA Finals. The LA Lakers, yes, the still dominant LA Lakers with Kobe, Pau, Ron Artest, aka Metta World Peace. I think Andrew Bynum was still on this team as well during this time period. Man, the Lakers during this time period was my first ever favorite team. Kobe was my first favorite player. I think everyone can sort of relate to that with the Lakers, unless you're like a Celtic fan or something like that. Absolutely really cool to watch. And quite honestly, this might be maybe my second favorite final. We're going to be talking about my favorite final later on in this video, but this might be one of my top two favorite finals of all time because it's a 7-game series that went to LA. What a game 7 this was. This was a very hard fought series. I mean, sometimes teams will only score, mid 70 points, mid 80 points the entire series. This was a very tough series, defensively, and a lot of struggling, hard defense. It was a lot of fun. Lakers win 4-3. Kobe, obviously, the Finals MVP. Then, in the 2011 season, the NBA had this big time switch up. It was time for the era of the super team in 2011 because LeBron James left to go take his talents to South Beach in 2011, making the NBA Finals with the Miami Heat with D-Wade, Bosh, that whole squad, but met their match and their downfall against the Dallas Mavericks, who went in there as the maybe biggest underdog in NBA history. You could maybe argue the Detroit Pistons against the Lakers back in the 4, 5, 6 finals, whenever they were going against the Kobe Shaq Lakers. They might be the biggest underdogs, and they go in there and they win 4-2, 6 games. Dirk Nowitzki, Finals MVP. What a performance Dirk Nowitzki put on. The entire team just really came together. One of the best team basketball, experiences I think the NBA has ever seen. It was really cool to watch. 2012, yes, the Miami Heat make it back to the finals. Wow, who could have guessed that? And take on a very early, very raw and potential Oklahoma City Thunder team with KD, Russ, Harden. I think Serge was on that team still, and end up wiping the floor with that team in 5 games, 4-1. LeBron James winning his first title in 2012, being the MVP, Finals MVP, which was really cool. In the 2013 NBA Finals, yes, the Miami Heat make it back to the NBA Finals in 2013, and winning a very hard-fought NBA Finals against maybe kind of a surprising, rival in the San Antonio Spurs. And I know during this time period, the Spurs were still, relatively old. They still had, Tim Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. Even back then, people were calling Greg Popovich old, but it's kind of funny in hindsight thinking about that. But man, that is. It's definitely one of the best put together teams. Like again, we talk about Dallas about how well they played team basketball. This team might also be one of the best, and also we forget there's 4 Hall of Famers playing with Duncan. We have Tony Parker, Ginobili. You have Kawhi Leonard on that team, even though he was young, still very good. And you had a Hall of Fame head coach in Greg Popovich. Like that team was super stacked, and then all the great role players they had on that team as well. That team was maybe not a super team like the Miami Heat, but man, that team was very well built. But the Miami Heat did go on to win that series. LeBron, Finals MVP, and then next year get their butts whooped in 5 games. Yes, it was only a 5-game series in the 2014 NBA season. Kawhi Leonard, the rise and shine of Kawhi Leonard winning Finals MVP for shutting down, having to guard LeBron. I wish I could see LeBron's stats in this series. It's probably super crazy, but in the 2015 NBA Finals, 2015 NBA season, LeBron leaves, goes back to Cleveland, and we see two new powerhouses in the NBA. And that is the Golden State Warriors finally breaking through from being that really fun, cool team with Steph and Monte Ellis and this and that, to now being, what the heck is happening? All of a sudden, this young group of kids are just shooting up into the scene and making their way to an NBA Finals, going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they end up beating LeBron James in an NBA Finals. Super crazy, but a lot of people forget, Kevin Love getting injured in a series against Boston. Kyrie was hurt also in an earlier series, man. I think he's actually hurt in the NBA Finals, and it was LeBron and Tristan Thompson, Matthew Dellavedova, LeBron and Kyle Korver. Those were his guys, his go-to guys, and he even still, took him to 6 games. That's pretty impressive, but I think we can all tell that if, LeBron was healthy, well, not LeBron, sorry, if Kyrie was healthy, if Kevin Love was healthy, maybe if even one of them was healthy, this series would have been a lot more interesting. Andre Iguodala wins Finals MVP 2016, the infamous 2016 NBA Finals, the 3-1 NBA Finals, the crazy, hard-fought NBA Finals, my favorite NBA Finals of all time. No, not because of, the 3-1 and this and that. I think no matter who won that Game 7, it would still be my favorite NBA Finals of all time, because the storyline, the kick-up of the entire NBA season, and everything. 2016 was just the best year, at least in my opinion, of NBA basketball. It was my favorite NBA season of all time. It was such a good series, a good year. Everything was about 2016 was amazing. So, yes, 3-1, LeBron, all of them came back, beating the Golden State Warriors, the best team ever assembled, record-wise, 7-3-9. LeBron wins Finals MVP. 2016-2017 NBA season. Kevin Durant thought it'd be a fun idea to go join the best record team of all time and just dominate the NBA. I don't know why a competitive NBA player would think that'd be a good idea for the league, or even relatively fun to do, but hey, KD is his own dude, his own man, he can make his own decisions, but wow, that's an interesting decision. KD joins the Warriors, beats the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2017 in 5 games. Next year, 2018, sweeps the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals 4 games to nothing. My God. Then, in one last triumphant sort of hurrah of the Golden State Warriors with KD, Clay, Curry, Draymond, that whole squad, end up getting the injury bug in the 2019 NBA Finals when taking on the up-and-coming Toronto Raptors with a whole new brand of Kawhi Leonard that I don't think we've ever seen before. This put So those were the NBA Finals. Now, let's get into the NBA MVPs if you forgot, or if you just want a little fun little chit chat with it. In 2010, was LeBron James. His averages were 29.7 points per game, 8.6 assists, and 7 rebounds. Man, the mid 2010s LeBron is just, it's his peak, it's his best, it's his more athletic version of LeBron. People say, 2016 LeBron, 2018 LeBron, his playoff performance in 2018 was just also on another level. People talk about LeBron James now being his best version of himself because his IQ is just so off the chart. You could definitely argue that, but man, this 2010 LeBron James, absolutely insane. This was his last year in Cleveland as well. 2011, we have a very loved NBA player, and that is the youngest, I think still, NBA MVP, Derrick Rose, averaging 25 points, 7.7 assists, and 4 rebounds. People like to argue that, arguably LeBron could have won another MVP here. There are a lot of other players who had very good stat lines, but man, this was just such a catapult to the Derrick Rose story and career. It was really cool to see. And in 2012 and 2013, LeBron James wins back-to-back MVPs in 2012, 2013 with the Miami Heat, averaging 1 year 27, 7, and 6. The next year 26, 8, and 7. Just, some typical LeBron James numbers. And again, you could have very well argued that LeBron James should have won 4 MVPs in a row. A lot of people do argue that, but I think we all know who the best player on the planet was, and I think that is what's most important about this situation. Then in 2014, KD wins an MVP in OKC. The MVP speech was also made during that time period. He averaged 32 points per game, I think leading the league in scoring, 7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. Amazing. Then, 2015, the young kid, the young budding star, Steph Curry, finally makes another breakthrough and wins MVP of the league. Man, averaging 23.8 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 7.7 assists. I know, again, not crazy numbers, but on a very good team, kind of makes sense. But then in 2016, yes, we do get Steph Curry, prime Steph Curry, GOAT Steph Curry, the best unanimous MVP we have ever seen, yada yada yada. Yeah, what a great season Steph Curry had. He averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 7 assists. I think if I could look out his efficiency numbers was absolutely insane. And again, the best player on the best team record-wise in NBA history, the first ever unanimous MVP. Man, Steph Curry this year was just, again, absolutely insane. So fun to watch. 2016, my favorite year. A lot of fun. 2017, we have Russell Westbrook, the triple-double Russ with 32 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. So fun to watch. I miss OKC Russ a lot. Then we have James Harden on the Houston Rockets, averaging 35 and 9. Very crazy. Then in 2019, the last NBA MVP of the decade, another young budding star, sort of an established player now, but it's Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2019, averaging 27.7 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. Man, I think we all forget how dominant Giannis was during that time period. I mean, we all know Giannis could be, a 3-time winning MVP as young boy Anthony Davis, also on an All-NBA team. Very interesting. All-NBA first team, you could probably guess who they are off the top of your head if you're, a player. If you're a person who loves NBA basketball during this time period. We have Steph, we have Harden, we have Kawhi, we have LeBron, and we have Kevin Durant at the All-NBA decade first team, the best players of the decade. Do you agree with that? Let me know down in the comments. So it's Steph, Harden, Kawhi, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. The top 5 players of the decade. Interesting. I could 1000% agree with that. I mean, that does make a lot of sense. Now, getting back to the third team, this one was probably the most controversial one. I mean, in the All-NBA second team, you did have, Blake Griffin, who did have a good chunk of years, but a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, even myself, could argue Kevin Love doesn't make an All-NBA team. I mean, this dude was a double machine, dominating in a crappy team in Minnesota, no offense, but all by himself, averaging 20 and 15, 20 and 13 for a long period of time. I think he did also win Most Improved Player. He won a championship with LeBron, making 3 NBA Finals with LeBron. How is he not at least on a team, but a player like Carmelo, Blake Griffin, those guys are all NBA second team guys. A little sus. I know his stats aren't as crazy at the start of the decade. They did obviously go down a little bit, obviously with joining LeBron James, going to a winning franchise, a winning team. Makes a little sense, but I think Kevin Love should 1000% be on a team for sure. Especially over LaMarcus Aldridge. I love LA, obviously, Blazer fan, but I think definitely over LA, he should at least be an All-NBA third team member. And then a lot of people are also very curious on why Kobe and D-Wade were on these teams. Now, of course, Kobe was definitely not the player he used to be. He did win a title in 2010, we all know that. And even after the 2011 season was still pretty good, but man, the fall that Kobe had after all of his injuries, getting a lot older, all that wear and tear and all those miles he put on his body, people didn't really think that, a good 2-3 years of an entire decade was good enough to be an All-NBA team member. I mean, obviously we now have players like Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson could definitely be on an NBA team member over Kobe, no offense. I love Kobe Bryant so much, but for an entire decade, Klay also had a very good, second half of the decade from basically, 2015, even 2014, you could argue, into the 2020s. Very interesting, even over D-Wade. D-Wade, again, was not the player he used to be. Also had a very big drop-off after about 2-3 years into the decade. Obviously was, being helped out with LeBron a whole lot, but I don't know, good enough to be an All-NBA team member. And Giannis as well. Giannis, obviously, he only really had, 2 good years in the decade, but obviously winning MVP in 2019, I guess, sort of has to solidify him as one of the best players of the decade, winning an MVP in the decade. So, let me know down in the comments if you have any sort of honorary players you think should be on there. Like I said before, Kevin Love, Dwight Howard. Even Dwight Howard had a couple good seasons in the decade. Even though again, big drop off. Jimmy Butler, you could argue. I already talked about Klay Thompson. I'm looking at a list right now of some snubbed players. Draymond Green. You could definitely argue Draymond Green. Maybe Dirk Nowitzki. Kyrie Irving. Man, Kyrie Irving basically from. I mean, man, even when Kyrie was a rookie, he was averaging some pretty big point numbers. I think definitely some snubs on this list for sure. Yes, guys, I think that is everything. That is